Hello everybody, Shabbat Shalom, Good Shabbos. If you don't know me, I am Sarah, former Jewish Student Association president, and I am here to talk to you about this week's Parsha, aka Torah portion. So, this week's Parsha is Parsha Devarim. It's the first Parsha in the last book of the Torah. The last book of the Torah is Deuteronomy, or Devarim in Hebrew. So, at this point, we know that the Jewish people were wandering through the desert for 40 years, and now they've reached the end of their journey. It's the 40th year. And Moses is getting up to talk to all the Jewish people. He is not going to go into the land of Israel with the rest of the Jewish people after the 40 years. So he's basically saying goodbye to them. These are his last words, and he's telling them everything he has left to tell them before he doesn't see them anymore. So a lot of this book of the Torah and this Parsha is recounting things that already happened. He's retelling them laws that he told them, retelling stories that are extremely important. So this Parsha, he's focusing on all the events that happened throughout the journey through the desert in the last 40 years. And one important thing that he tells about is the reason why they had to wander through the desert for 40 years in the first place. So originally they were just supposed to go, after they get the Torah, straight into the land of Israel. Everything would be great. But before they got into the land of Israel, all those years ago, the Jewish people were scared. And they wanted to send spies into the land to see what it was like there, because they didn't really have complete faith in God that everything would be okay when they got into Israel. So they sent these spies. The spies came back, told them some scary stories, and they all freaked out and rebelled against God and Moses. And then they were punished by having to wander through the desert for 40 years, so that none of the people in that generation would end up going to the land of Israel, only their children would. And then the rest of the Parsha is talking about all the cities they passed through, all the people they fought with, everything they did on their journey to the end of the 40 years in the desert. So I know everybody is probably relating the Parsha to COVID-19 and the global pandemic, but I'm going to do that too. It's pretty applicable here. We're basically on our own journey through the desert right now. Hopefully we reached our end. The Jewish people are at the end of their journey. We can only hope we're at the end of our journey too. And we obviously, a lot of us probably wish we could send spies to see what will happen next. We don't know when things are going to go back to normal. We probably don't know what's happening with classes next semester. I'm going to be a grad student. I still have no idea what I'm doing. It would be nice if someone could tell me what's going to happen. But sending spies didn't really work that well for the Jewish people, and obviously is not going to work for us. And the whole reason they got punished in the first place is because they didn't have faith in God. And their faith in God is what ended up helping them throughout their journey through the desert. So I can only hope that all of you are being as careful as you can, trying to limit the spread of COVID-19. So other than that, all we can do is basically have faith that we're going to get through this journey, everything will be back to normal, and we'll reach the end, and everything will be fine. So yeah, hopefully we could all keep up hope and faith that we'll get through this together. And yeah, good Shabbos.